watching KOAT Action 7 News live at 10.
Stunning new video tonight from the international manhunt for El Chapo, one of the most dangerous criminals in the world. Officials are offering millions for information leading to his capture. Here's ABC's Gio Benitez.
Tonight, our first look inside the tunnel used by drug lord Joaquin El Chapo Guzman to escape from prison.
All right, we're inside the El Chapo tunnel.
The first room filled with supplies, a generator, electric wires, buckets to move earth.
El Chapo would have come up these stairs and then into this underground section here.
Down that ladder, a well-lit ventilated tunnel, custom built to his height, just 5 feet 6 inches tall, leading from his prison shower into the house.
And here it is. This is the house where he just walked into and disappeared.
The house is set just a mile away from the prison where El Chapo escaped from. 3 top officials at this maximum security prison now fired. Authorities telling us someone on the inside must have helped him escape to this house.
These thick brick walls are just concealing everything inside here.
This is the most recent photo of El Chapo. Mexican officials offering nearly $4 million for information leading to his capture.
It's going to be very difficult, and we may never see him again.
And here in Mexico, just take a look behind me. This area surrounding the prison is just loaded with construction projects, possibly making it easier for El Chapo's team to build that tunnel and that house. Meanwhile, sources now telling us that El Chapo's escape means more violence in Mexico and more drugs into the U.S. Gio Benitez, ABC News, Almoloya de Juarez, Mexico.
A well-respected police captain who was among the first responders to the Boston Marathon bombings says his son was plotting an ISIS-inspired attack. The captain reported his own son was planning to build a pressure cooker explosive just like the Boston bombers. Police arrested Alexander Kikola on the 4th of July after they say he bought 4 high-powered weapons from an undercover agent. The FBI says the 23-year-old was planning to set off his bombs at the crowded cafeteria of a major college campus and a nearby bar. Agents say they found a pressure cooker he had bought the day before his arrest.
An Orlando police officer is recovering in the hospital while other cops try to find the driver who ran him over. The hit and run was caught on police dash cam. Officer William Anderson makes a traffic stop and approaches the driver's side with his gun drawn. That's when the passenger gets out and runs off. As Anderson runs in front of the car, the driver plows him down. Anderson fired his weapon, as you heard, but it is not clear if he hit anyone. Police later found the car that hit him set on fire. Officials are still trying to figure out who was driving.
For the first time, we are now hearing the 911 call from the teen who survived a plane crash in the Washington state wilderness.
I was riding from Kalispell, Montana to Bellingham, Washington, and about, well, I don't know where, but we crashed, and I was the only one that made it out.
16-year-old Autumn Veach hiked out of the mountains on Monday, 2 days after Saturday's crash. She flagged down a passing driver who was able to connect her with police. Veach is recovering in the hospital. The search continues for the aircraft as well as her grandparents who were on the plane with her.
It is official, a nuclear deal between the U.S. and Iran. It's a major victory for the president. ABC's Terry Moran reports what this means for both countries.
Here they are, those jubilant negotiators in their moment of triumph. You can see it on John Kerry's face.
This moment has been a long time coming, and we have worked very hard to get here.
18 days in Vienna, 2 years of high-stakes diplomacy, 6 years since President Obama first reached out directly to Iran's supreme leader, and 36 years since this. The 1979 hostage crisis, Iran holding 52 American diplomats and citizens hostage for 444 long, terrifying, humiliating days. Today, Mr. Obama charting a new course.
This deal offers an opportunity to move in a new direction. We should seize it.
Iran now agrees to sharply cut back its nuclear program that has alarmed the world by dismantling 2/3 of all its key nuclear machinery for 10 years, reducing its uranium stockpile by 98% for 15 years, and submitting to continuous international monitoring and inspections. And the U.S. agrees to help Iran thrive by ending those crippling economic sanctions, recognizing Iran's right to even keep a peaceful nuclear program and allowing Iran over time to buy weapons, even ballistic missiles.
This deal demonstrates that American diplomacy can bring about real and meaningful change.
Critics pounced on the deal. Among the first and fiercest, Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu, who called it a stunning, historic mistake. But Secretary Kerry shot back in a spirited interview with us today.
The alternative is to, what, go to war immediately? Bomb them? Sanction them further? Well, wait, no, you can't sanction them further.
For decades, the United States and Iran have been sworn enemies, but you got the sense here today that a new era has begun, for better or worse.
Lawmakers in Washington, D.C. now have 60 days to review the deal. Right after it was signed, we heard from some of New Mexico's delegation.
But I'm very encouraged. The 6 countries have come together. They've got an agreement. They all believe in their public statements that this prevents the Iran from getting a nuclear weapon. And that's a pretty strong statement.
The strength of the agreement has as much to do with our ability to actually enforce and hold them accountable.
New Mexico's only Republican, Steve Pierce, is not so happy. He believes the deal will only accelerate Iran's nuclear ambitions and their ability to harm Americans and others. To see more of what our lawmakers said, go to our KOAT mobile app or KOAT.com.
Some people say if Donald Trump is going to keep bashing undocumented immigrants, they have no problem swinging back, literally. We told you last week about a man here in New Mexico who made a Donald Trump piñata. Santa Fe County's Republican Party treasurer, Ignacio Padilla, says he was shocked by Trump's comments during his 2016 presidential announcement. Padilla says in a few weeks he'll hang the piñata in the center of the plaza and let a group of people destroy it. And now a locally owned business in Texas is following the trend, calling its version the Donald's.
It's insulting because we're not all like that. He's just speaking without thinking because us Hispanics, we're hard workers. It's a way to take out their anger at being portrayed that way.
Since Trump's controversial comments, NBC, Univision, and Macy's have cut business ties with the presidential candidate. An officer in Minnesota pulls over a group of teens that bring a new meaning to the term carpooling. A state trooper initially stopped the truck because a group of teens was sitting in the truck bed. When he approached the vehicle, he noticed the riders were wearing bathing suits. Turns out the bed was lined with a tarp and then filled with water for a makeshift hot tub.
It's finally feeling like summer in Boston now that the last of the massive snow pile has melted. After a record-breaking winter, city plows built a mound of snow up to 75 feet high. You can see what's left of the pile. Officials say residents put their trash out before big storms hit, and it got swept up with the snow when crews came to clear the street. The city was not sure when the pile would melt. The city even held a contest to see who could guess the big day. Now here's Chief Meteorologist Joe Diaz with tonight's first alert weather.
Floodwaters turning deadly over parts of Kentucky. Overnight flash flooding leading at least 1 dead. Cameras captured the rushing water carrying this home down river, then the roof ripping off as it smashed into the bridge. Incredible video there. This morning, rescuers searching for nearly a dozen still missing as families wait. Dozens of mobile homes washing away. Parts of southern and central Indiana are underwater this morning after 7 inches of rain swamped the region overnight, leaving behind this mess. In Madison's, Indiana's historic downtown area, mudslides are wreaking havoc, filling streets and submerging vehicles. Residents are being told to stay inside.
I'll look at tonight's top stories next.
And a final look at your morning forecast.